All right, today we're going to dive into a classic Bengali moral story. It's called Porisromi, which translates to the hardworking wife. And, on the surface, it might seem like just a simple folktale, but trust me, it packs a serious punch. It's all about exploitation, sacrifice, and this incredible courage that can just pop up when you're pushed to the absolute brink. So let's start with this. When does a promise become a prison? I mean, think about it. This question is really the key that unlocks the whole story. We're about to see how a marriage proposal, something that's supposed to be this amazing new beginning, can twist into a life sentence. Okay, so let's set the scene and meet the players. On one side, you've got this wealthy village head, the Moro, and his wife, Loda. They have this huge estate, right? A lot to manage. And their plan for handling all that work, well, let's just say it's more than a little shady. And this slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. What they needed, officially, was a wife for their only son. But what they really wanted was a servant who costs absolutely nothing. I mean, their son, Suman, is lazy, doesn't have a job. They're not looking for a life partner for him. Nope. They're looking for free labor to run their entire operation. The house, the farm, everything. It's a business deal, just wrapped up to look like a marriage. And if you had any doubt, just listen to this. This is Loda, the mother-in-law, basically spelling out her entire scheme. She says, I will bring a girl from a poor family for my son. She will be able to do all the work, and then she lists it all out. Cooking, washing, laundry, even the entire rice harvest. This has nothing to do with love. It's a cold, hard calculation to exploit a young woman who they think won't have the power to fight back. So you think their plan is bad? Well, it gets worse. This is where we meet our heroine, a 16-year-old girl named Padma, and her father, Milan Mia. And here's the kicker. Her father is deep in debt, to the Moro, of all people. You can see where this is going, right? So the Moro calls Padma's father in, and bam, he springs the trap. He lays down this impossible demand, pay back this huge loan with interest in just 7 days. 7 days. Or else he's taking everything, their land, their house, all of it. He's backing him into a corner, just taking away every single option he has. And then, in the very next breath, right after that threat, he offers his so-called solution. He says, I want to marry your daughter, Padma, to my only son. This is just so cruel. It's not a generous offer. It's a power move. He's not asking. He's using this man's total desperation to get exactly what he wants. Well, Padma overhears all of this going down, and seeing her father completely trapped, she feels like she has no other choice. She steps in and makes the ultimate sacrifice. She tells them, I am ready to marry your son. Please arrange the wedding. She's literally trading her entire future to save her father. So, the wedding happens, there's a big celebration, all the fanfare you'd expect. But that happy illusion? It doesn't even last a day. It shatters almost immediately, and the grim reality of Padma's new life comes crashing down. And get this. The very next morning. Not a week later, not a day later. The morning after the wedding, her mother-in-law's true colors come out. Loda's voice is just dripping with sarcasm. Hey, daughter of a king, are you still sleeping? The mask is completely off. The honeymoon is over before it even began. It's time to work. And what about her new husband, Suman? You might think he'd step in, right? Nope, he's zero help. When Padma goes to him, he just tells her to listen to his parents and do whatever they say. He's completely in on it. She is totally, utterly alone in this. And we're not just talking about a few extra chores here. The exploitation just ramps up to this inhuman level. They are pushing Padma to her absolute breaking point. I mean, look at the sheer scale of this. Her daily tasks, tending all the cattle, cooking for the whole family, washing all the clothes and dishes, and on top of all that, managing the entire rice harvest by herself. They literally fired all their paid workers because they figured, why pay them when we have Padma? She's doing the work of several people, from sunrise to sunset, with no rest and no help. It's just staggering. So for months, Padma just takes it. She suffers through all of this in complete silence. But then, something happens. Something that changes everything and finally gives her the strength she needs to stop being silent and start fighting back. What happens? Well, Padma finds out she's pregnant. Now, you'd think this would be happy news, right? A grandchild. But when she tells her mother-in-law, Lata's reaction isn't joy. It's pure anger. She doesn't see a baby on the way, she just sees an interruption to her free labor. And just when you think it can't get any worse, her own husband, the father of this child, sides completely with his mother. He actually says this child is not needed now. Get rid of it. His only concern is the inconvenience of her pregnancy. It's just unbelievably cruel. And that is the final straw. The threat against her unborn child awakens something fierce inside Padma. This is where she finds her voice. For the very first time, she stands up to them, and it's not for herself. It's to protect her baby. She tells them she'd rather die than harm her child, and she's going to the police to tell them everything. Okay, so Padma's threat to call the cops sends the family into a total panic. But do they feel bad? Do they apologize? Of course not. They just double down on the cruelty. They decide that the only way out of this is to silence Padma for good. But here's the thing. They have underestimated her this whole time. Padma actually overhears Zumon and Lota plotting to kill her, to put her in a sack and dump her by the river. But she's thinking on her feet. She cleverly puts a pillow in her bed as a decoy, and in the dead of night, she escapes. And once Padma is free and takes action, the whole rotten system they built just comes crashing down. And it happens fast. She gets to the authorities, who immediately arrest the moral. Under pressure, he cracks and confesses the whole scheme. This leads the police right to their doorstep. Just as Suman and Lota are realizing she's gone, boom, justice is served. So, in the end, what does this story really teach us? What's the takeaway? For months, Padma was a victim, right? She was trapped by fear and her circumstances. But the second she decided to speak up, not even for herself, but for her unborn child, she became a hero. It's such a powerful reminder that courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about acting despite the fear. It's about finding something or someone that's worth fighting for, even when you are terrified. And it just goes to show you how a single voice speaking truth to power can bring an entire system of injustice to its knees.